Yes, application process was very easy. It's literally, and especially in comparison with other countries, that I applied to.
This is my interview with Genia, who was successful in her application for the Estonian startup visa and talks about her experience in Estonia. She applied with a travel marketplace business idea, and she shares here in this interview her tips and experience on how to easily apply for the Estonian startup visa. This is a snippet from my full course on how to apply for the Estonian startup visa, where we share the experiences of successful applicants. In the course, you can get example documents and example business plans to give you a better idea of exactly what's expected and how successful applicants have gone about the process of getting endorsed and then applying for the Estonian startup visa. Just check that out, the link in the description below, and I hope you enjoy the interview. And what stage was your startup at when you applied? Were you at the idea stage or MVP?
We already had an MVP, this meaning a minimal viable product, meaning that we already had not only a landing page to generate leads, but we had a product behind that. But we didn't raise money yet. We didn't have like thousands of customers, but it was way more than idea stage. Idea was in August, then all the fall we worked on the implementation, and I applied to Startup Estonia committee in January, I think. It was December or January. So we worked on the product for 3-4 months, and we already had first users.
And were you in revenue yet, or did you just have users?
No, that was our first product. We were very young and immature. Our first product, the one that I applied with, was a marketplace, and it was a marketplace in travel space. We really loved the idea, and there was a problem to solve. However, the business model was such as that the product was for free. It was for people. It was called Share Trip, and it was for people to find other people to travel or do something together so they can split cost or travel safer. So there was nothing we were charging for. The idea was that we will have all these users who will be using the platform, and then we will bring some businesses to promote themselves or the activities there, and we would charge the businesses. So in order to build marketplace, it just took, like, long story short, we closed it in 1 year. But initially we just had people who posted the trips, other people joined, but it was all for free. So we were just burning our savings.
And in terms of the application process, could you talk about that?
Yes, application process was very easy. It's literally, and especially in comparison with other countries, that I applied to, you just need to apply on Startup Insider. I think it's a tool that Startup Estonia uses where you just submit your application that is very similar to what you as a startup founder have definitely seen when you apply to Y Combinator or Techstars, some accelerators or some programs, some equity-free programs. So it's just covering like what problem you're solving, what's your solution, what's the market, what's the growth strategy, and what is the team.
And what about the criteria in connection with innovation and what you have to show there?
Sure. So why it's so easy to actually apply to startup visa in Estonia? You just need to be approved as a startup by Startup Estonia committee, meaning that they have people who are founders who have had several startups, so they understand what is startup. Because, you know, it's really hard to put a definition on a startup, especially in the beginning when you don't have enough traction. So what it says, in order to receive this approval that you're a startup, it should be a something around technology, innovative and scalable, meaning that you cannot just come and build a bubble tea shop in Estonia. That's nice, but it's not on startup visa. So this should be something about technology, right? This meaning that you write code or you have something with hardware. This means that it's innovative. The definition of innovation is that it's you either improve something drastically. It's either 10 times cheaper, 10 times faster, or you allow something that has been done offline before to now happen online. So this is all about innovation. And scalable, this means that you can become, I don't want to say like a venture big, like you can not raise money, but this means that you can grow fast and you can create jobs in Estonia. That means that it's scalable. For example, teaching English or Russian, it's not scalable because you only have that much time in your day. But scalable means that you can grow fast with minimum resources.
And how long did the process take?
It took, so there are two steps, right? First, you need to be approved as a startup, and then with that, you go and apply to the immigration office. It said that it takes up to 14 days to be approved by startup committee, so it's really fast. And then the governmental part takes also, it's not 6 months, but I can't promise. It usually takes under 1 month. But they usually say something more, like up to 3 months. I think, I'm not sure, but I think they say up to 2-3 months. But normally, all the times that I or my friends applied to something, it's usually under 1 month, the decision.
And what about the application for the visa itself after you've been approved?
Oh, that's very simple. Actually, that's why there's a joy of applying as a startup. So before, you could only apply if you get married or studying or working, or if you're an investor and you're like a normal entrepreneur, and then you need to show a lot of money in the bank or like a huge traction in revenue. With startup visa, what actually you need to show is just this approval number by Startup Estonia committee. And then you just like a normal set of documents, you just put your like name, last name, marital status, date of birth. There's just a form for 3 pages, I think, where you just describe why you want to come to Estonia. And then for the reason you choose that you're a startup founder, you put the number that you have been approved. And the other documents that you need is a photo to pay for this document processing, that when I applied was 190 euros. Then you need to show the insurance for the period that you want to receive the visa. You need to show that you have somewhere to live in Estonia. And you also need to show that you have more than 160 euros per month for the intended stay.
Would you be able to talk about the pathway on this visa to permanent residence and citizenship?
Yeah, so there are several ways of applying to this visa. So you can either apply, if you've never been to Estonia, and you just can apply for a startup visa for 3 months. You can come just for 3 months. You can apply for 9 months, depending how much you want. Then once you already have a registered company in Estonia, that actually you can register from abroad if you're e-resident, but like, let's not go, it's very complicated already there. But you can come on this like short visa, 3 or 9 months. And then, so this is a visa, like if you were to come as a tourist. But once you're in the country and once you register your company in Estonia, then you can apply to this temporary residency permit that is given up to 5 years. And the process is even easier because you already have this approval from Startup Estonia. Then you just go and fill these documents, also show that you have 160 euros times the number of months. If you don't have up to 5 years, maybe they can give you like up to 3 years, depending on how much money you have to show the insurance. Everything is the same, but you already have a registered company. Then this one is given for 5 years. That's like incredible, actually. And for 5 years, you don't need to worry about anything. Even like we pivoted 3 times, but we kept the same company, like registered company. You even can change the name. It costs 16 euros, but I never bothered. So the name of the company still stays the old name. And then after 5 years, in order to get a permanent residency in Estonia and winning European Union, you should live 5 years permanently before that. So if you just came to Estonia, you got this temporary residency for 5 years. And if you stayed for 5 years in Estonia, you can go for business travel or back home, but it shouldn't be more than like 180 days per year. And there's also the maximum limit. So, but like if you just come to Estonia and you live in Estonia and go sometimes on business trip, in 5 years, you can apply to the permanent residency. For that, you already need to know Estonian at some level. So, but it's easier. There are lots of courses. Estonian is a very hard language, heads up. But I think it should be B1 level. So that's the level that allows you to talk at the store and like to tell where is the restroom, and B1 level, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think you need to be loyal to the country, but I haven't gone through this path yet. So I just know that I need to wait for 5 years completely. And then to receive the citizenship, it's 3 more years. In order to get the citizenship, you need to live at least 8 years on the and on the permanent basis. So this means this 5 that you had, and then 3 on the permanent residence, and then you can apply to citizenship.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Genia. This is part of my full course on how to apply for the startup visa for Estonia. The Estonian startup visa is a great option for entrepreneurs, and it's also a pathway to permanent residence in Estonia and to citizenship, if that's important to you. So in the full course, just click on the description below. You can get access to example documents, example business plans, to give you a better idea of exactly how to successfully apply for the endorsement and secure the visa.